Hi, everybody, and welcome back to JenTalks. Today, I'm going to be talking about nurturing yourself. So, I've been on before, I've made videos on self care and boundaries, and it's one of the popular topics I'm asked to speak about on a regular basis. I was speaking today to a beautiful community group. As I'm recording this video, it's International Women's Day. So, I had a beautiful talk very much about self care, and what I brought it back to was really the idea that when we were young, when we were infants, and when we were in need of care and guidance in the world, hopefully, if we were lucky enough, we had a carer or a parent or somebody responsible for nurturing us, for looking after our needs. So, not just, providing food, water, and shelter, more than that, more kindness, empathy, affection, love, laughter, enthusiasm. And if we were lucky enough to have those needs met, it was a part of the foundations for us to be fully whole and resourceful as adults. And listen, maybe you did, maybe you didn't. It's okay if you didn't. You can still learn how to nurture yourself. There's always going to be a part of you that needs to be nurtured, even if you did have that beautiful experience as a young child. So here's the idea: is we needed that then, we still need it now. So we often forget that when we grow up as adults, maybe we ourselves become parents, or what happens is we just, get thrown into work, we get thrown into busy lives, forget that there's actually an inner child in us that still needs to be nurtured on a regular basis, on a daily basis, that heart and soul still calls for nurturing. And that's why, we might call for partners to do it for us. We might even call for our family members. We might still have that kind of connected relationship with parents, with family that do it for us. But of course, realistically, we have to learn to do it for ourselves. So I thought I'd present self-care from the point of view of nurturing yourself, and think of it like a survival strategy. It's like, in order for you to survive on this planet and to function fully, wholly, and resourcefully, you need to nurture yourself. So it's not just about providing basic food, shelter, water. It's not just getting by. It's like what we tend to tick the boxes when it comes to existing. We've got enough meals. Luckily, hopefully, we've got enough meals. We may have somewhere to live. We might have enough hydration. But we need to go beyond that. We need to come inwards to ourselves. So here's the thing: when it comes to nurturing as well, it comes back to, what is it that your heart really calls for? So you bring yourself back to being a kid. And again, it doesn't matter if you were nurtured, if you felt like you were nurtured as a child or not, but just if you could go back and revisit yourself as a small child. And if you could nurture that child, if I said to you, go back in time and revisit your younger self, pick an age that you can remember as young as you can go back, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever age you can remember, and just visualize yourself as a very young child and say, what did that young child need in order to feel nurtured? What would you give it? Would you give it a hug? Would you give it a talking to? Would you give it a back carrier on your bike? Would you bring it out for something to eat? Would you swing it around, on a swing in a playground? Like, what is it that young person needed? Because whatever it is that you think you're going to offer that young child is what your heart is calling for now. So yeah, of course, you can't give yourself like a back carrier on your own bicycle, but it's the idea of the lens that you're going to look at yourself through as a young child is what you need as an adult. So if you're looking for safety, you might go back to your young child and you might say, oh, I really need to go back and protect them and put them into a house or put them into a castle and wrap them up in warm blankets. That might be because you yourself are seeking that need or requirement for safety. Or if you go back and you're offering them fun, that's what your heart is calling for. So nurturing yourself comes back to your own relationship with yourself. So just in that exercise I mentioned about visualizing your younger self and going back, that's one part that you can really connect with yourself. But here's the thing, and this is probably why we've lost our way along the way. We spend so much of our day doing, getting up, getting out, getting back, getting in, getting up. It's just getting, doing, producing, all for something, for the purpose. It's very unusual for us to do things that are just for frivolous fun. And one of the things that we've forgotten how to do, a lot of us, is just how to be. There was a big movement of mindfulness, and it's kind of tethered off now because I think it lost its way a little bit along the way. But realistically, if you can just bring it back simply and just ask yourself, like, how can I just be? Without a phone, without a book, without music, without any other distraction, just be in your own thoughts. Now, that is not an easy feat, particularly if any of your thoughts are uh, bullying, negative, tyrannical. It depends on what kind of voices you've got going on in the head there. So it doesn't mean it's actually easy. Like, some of the biggest growth and the biggest what would you say, the outcomes are from the things that are not that easy at first. But like everything, and the same as when I'm teaching breath or whatever tools I'm teaching, I say it's not like you have to go into a dark room and lock yourself in there for an hour and, at the will of your own mind and thoughts. You start very, very small. So the next time you sit down and you feel like having a rest, instead of picking up the phone or a book or whatever, turning on the TV, just ask yourself, can I sit in my own thoughts for 10 seconds? Can I sit in them for 20 seconds, 30 seconds? And allow it to build, and pick a time in the day that's good for you. Like, so for me, the morning time is really good. So when I wake up in the morning, before I run and do, I'll sit in my own thoughts and I'll just check in with myself, and I'll even have a conversation with myself. I often think of it like this. It's like when you're in bed and you're like, you've somebody in the bed beside you, you like turn to yourself, really. So it might be an empty space in the bed, or there might be a gap between you and the person, but really you're talking to yourself, and you say, hello, Jennifer, good morning to you. How are you feeling today? How did you sleep? Yeah, that was good. That was a good night's sleep. Yeah. And how are you feeling now? And what do you need today, Jenny? Do you need a bit of breath work? Are you hungry? What would you like for breakfast? As if you're literally looking after somebody in the bed. You've just woken up beside them. This person is like the most amazing person you've ever met. So you really want to look after them so well. Imagine doing that for yourself every morning as much as possible. Because, of course, every morning for anything is almost, is such a tall feat. So if you say to yourself, most mornings, even if you just said Monday to Friday when you go to work, if you have to go out the door to work, or you have to go out the door to school, or whatever it might be, to give yourself that little pause in the morning and just sit and actually ask the question. But instead of the head kind of jumping in and going, yeah, I need to do this and I need to do that, just check in and just feel into the heart. What does the heart say? Is it feeling grateful? Is it feeling lonely? Is it feeling anxious? What is it feeling? And then down into the belly, come down. Sometimes I just put my hands on my belly and I'll just breathe into it, and I'll just say, look, what is here today? What is it that I need to see? What is it I need to know? And I know they might sound like flowery questions. You don't even have to ask those in that language. Just literally sit and say. Give yourself 10 seconds in the morning. And then press your go button if that's what you need to do. It's not that we're all going to be like parking our busy lives all of a sudden just because we're going to start nurturing ourselves. But the beginning of nurturing yourself is having a relationship with yourself. The most important relationship you will ever have on this planet in this lifetime is with yourself, because every other relationship stems from that. The quality of the relationship you have with yourself stems. All of the relations stem from that. So when you can sit with yourself and know that you're feeling a bit lost or a bit angry or a bit jealous, and go, yeah, that's okay. I know why I'm feeling that, or I don't really like feeling like this, but it's here. Let's have a look at it. What's coming up for me? I'm going to talk a little bit more about that, kind of what we sometimes call our shadow self. But I like to think of it just as you fully whole. Every part of you is welcome. Like, I have talked about on many of the videos before about all emotions are welcome because they're there to give us an indication of what it is we're doing, where we're at, what we need to know. So again, part of us sitting with ourselves is just allowing these emotions to come up and getting curious with them. You know, there's a lovely acronym, ACE, awareness, or you can even say like ask, you know, awareness, acknowledge, ask, you know, oh, here's an emotion. What am I feeling today? I'm feeling resentful, I'm feeling shy, I'm feeling lost. You know, they don't have to be positive emotions. We don't all wake up in the morning going ding. You know, it's great when we do, but we don't always. Apologize for my little doggy there. And then the second one is curious. Let's get curious as to why we have that emotion. And then the last one, which has to follow the first two, is express. Like Coco now is expressing herself. We need to express the emotion that we're feeling. So if it's joy or happiness, you might just declare it, you might sing a song. But equally, if it's something like anger, jealousy, sadness, you might want to express it. And it doesn't always have to be verbal. You know, we can express things by writing them down. We can express them through physical body, you know, movement. It's just like literally moving energy in the body because all emotions are energy. So we could just decide to physically move the body to move emotions along. Tapping is another way, you know, so there's lots of different ways. And I suppose that most people love to journal. It's what works for you. Like just play around with it till you find a way. And that is a huge part of nurturing. You know, checking in with yourself, getting to know yourself. You'll hear this an awful lot about like having a relationship with yourself, you know, going inwards. That's what going inwards is. It's stillness. So you got to be still. That means no distractions. Allowing what is there to come up. And then nurturing and providing for whatever the need is that you meet. So I hope that makes sense to you. That's Coco reminding me that I've gone way over my time. So I apologize for the barking in the end. And I will see you again. I'm going to post another video before the end of the week because in Ireland here on Sunday, we're celebrating Mother's Day. So I'm going to put a little reel up for that. Other than that, I will follow on from nurturing yourself. And the second part of this clip is actually about teaching people how to treat you. Because sometimes we think about nurturing ourselves as very self-indulgent, but it's actually a great way to teach people around us how to nurture themselves and what it is that you need to be fully whole and resourceful. And don't forget, when you're fully whole and resourceful, everybody in your life that you love benefits from that. So it's not a selfish thing. It's actually really selfless and self-full for you to nurture yourself because you can be the best version of yourself for all the people that you love to be around. So have a wonderful week and I hope you enjoyed the video and I look forward to seeing you for the next one. Thank you again for your engagement and your interaction and I'll speak to you all very soon. Take care.